So, I mean, I got an answer by the personal assistant for summaries that he didn't get it. And, well, one reply on post count basically the same, but he is too scared to admit it, right? So he doesn't understand, and like they cannot deal with that. So they are kind of used to that you explain them everything from nothing all the time. And nothing is not the same as zero, as to repeat that, right? So it took until like 500 years ago that we accepted the definition of zero from like the Arabic world. Now, it obviously follows, so it's just like I'm not gonna bother sharing all those like screenshots and so like I checked what was the special day, Bat Appreciation Day. So I'm always talking about the bat power, and then this reminded me. But this is just a random measurement. So it just reminded me that 39 is the so I mixed up 93 and 39. That happens often. Jane Anders does that as well. So because in German we think the other way around, right? So it's most often clear what was meant in the context. And so this was the second measurement because I first looked at this statement, right? So 39 is the year, and so this is just a deadly, looks a bit like the ones you go looking for in spring, right? So in Italy as well, so Morcheln, but this is a Lorchel and it's deadly toxic. So, and like, if you would ask me, like, this is probably on my list, so like my hit list, because I shared it with, so like, Farouk's kind of favorite scholar ended up on the hit list of Israel. So this is definitely one of the women I would never hit on. So that's obvious. Like, what? Like, what is that? So it reminded me of the statement of gradient even. So another example of like why God created New Zealand as an isolate. But like obviously, no real questions. I'm quite confident that I'm able to explain that, like the next calls to like the freelancer from Bangladesh, but I don't know. So, like, it's this obvious. So, like, why does the United States do? It's just to boast a mission around the moon, right? Instead of like that would be something that would work in the longer run. So that would even like if you would have decided instead we will solve the problem. Instead of this mission, we solve the problem of the refugees from Myanmar. So right before like Bangladesh. So the biggest, so I guess the worst refugee camp at the moment, right? And so there was like this news about that 280 died on such trying to escape the situations they are in. So the 16-year-old, so they rescued like less than a dozen from 280 on this boat. That was not a ship. That was a boat. That was a boat I would have the license for, and we would have like at most like well, like you could transport maybe a dozen normally, right? So, but like yeah, but it's that's something. But our media doesn't mention that, right? So it's all about rescuing this already. Everyone is aware this potwal is dead now because they have a stream that 3,000 are watching, and on average there is now a firm that kind of can do those logistics. So maybe it's not even all that bad. Maybe next time they will be prepared and like do it in time. That's not as bad as the lunar mission of the United States, right? And the problem is, you have all those internet board warriors that consider themselves like brighter than animals, which might be true. So they consider themselves better than like well, I don't think our brain is most likely a whale. It's just different, right? But like in many regards, we are probably all. But like that's we are just animals, and they don't see that, and then you pay 300 billions for Netanyahu. There are not even that many. Like there are maybe 5 million that are indoctrinated by kind of this regime, right? So the Israeli government. But there are like officially there are like 1.7 million at the moment in this refugee camp I'm mentioning. So there are not 1.7 million Israelis that are actually pro what their government is doing. If they would know, if they would allow, like if you would ask them, so it's crazy, it's crazy, and for that they wasted more than 300 billion just in recent weeks, right? And that's what you like consider like status quo and nothing you can do against it. So the other news, but I never know. Like I don't have the time to, like I didn't even check it with ground news or something. Is that like a lot of like scientists, so MIT, are just disappearing at the moment. And I don't even like I don't even get like who lets them disappear. So someone like this crazy woman, right? Because she is a climate change denier. So like all the batshit crazy. So it's the Bat Remembrance Day, right? MAGA Republicans. So I did not encounter many, except like on the boards, and I didn't encounter an educated normal person. So there is something like this that I think is noteworthy. But look at our news. So it's this wall rescue mission, some soccer. This is at least Basilea is like part of Switzerland. So I don't know, but like nothing, and at least they mentioned this progressive like meeting. So, but it's just symbolic because like for the last 20 years, democracy is just declining, and especially in recent like so like since like 7 years, it is the case. Like, we lost big time humanity. And the problem is, around here it's the same. Like, 40% of our, like, farmers and like, this they are completely on that line. They kind of still think we kind of so like our right wing party SVP, so this family Magdala Blocher. So that is another lady I would put on like my. So when it comes to dating, that would be the last person. I would never date. I wouldn't endure that. Like, it's such like Magdala Blocher. So that is the. Like, I don't, but it changed. We no longer burn those money witches on the stakes, but like, do we have an image? So this is the result of like, wow. Yeah. So item. So, wow. Well, now, so, like, yes, I think most in the afterlife would want a live stream of what happens here. It's just we have an attachment, right? So, our ancestors, and so that's something like I think all like if there is like a vote, and the ones that did their part like get the vote, and like all those right-wing bourgeoisie, of course, are not part of the table, but like so like what philosophically makes sense, right? And so, but then it already, like, I didn't expect that. So I did not expect, and that's the issue. So I know. I even know for the most part now that's different to like 4 or 5 years ago. How this works. So like how this works. So like on a well, how I would explain that it works. But I still find it unbelievable that it works. Because like, so that's what you would need to understand from the recording today, and I will explain that step by step, because this is much simpler than what like I had before. This is just one, like, this is so much simpler. But yeah, so I will not explain that now. But the problem is that most are even too scared to admit that they don't understand it, and that's my biggest issue with all women I encountered. So where it would get interesting, they don't dare to ask, like, I don't get it. So it might be the first time in their life that it's because that it's not like a mushroom or a Pokemon you collect, right? So that's completely outside of what they. But there it would get interesting. So I don't yet understand. Can you explain? And for them, like, to admit that this is already like they never dare to do that. So they find their ways to like avoid or like even consult ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT cannot explain that, and then they ask like it's always the same dynamics. So they're nothing. And like I don't care if I don't care if it's so. But if you don't remind them nowadays in a feed, like every like 10 messages, that it is like the bigger picture is so surprising was just that God again underlined it. So that's what I didn't expect, right?